It's over now.
Well, it finally happened. After years of rumour and speculation, false claims, deception and ejaculation, it seems that Kathleen Kennedy is finally leaving Lucasfilm. I know, we've heard this same thing 100 times over from every clickbait, algorithm-chasing rumour merchant on YouTube, but in this case, it looks like it's actually legit. All the major trades are reporting the same thing. She's decided to step down when her contract expires at the end of this year. She hasn't been fired, she's not leaving in disgrace, and she hasn't been forced out by some internal coup. She's going out as we all knew she would, when she was damn well good and ready, probably to a shower of Lifetime Achievement Awards, meaningless accolades and fake praise from the shill media, not to mention the golden handshake to end all golden handshakes, but leaving she is. This, dear viewer, is it. The Kennedy era of Star Wars is at an end. And wow, what an era it's been. Tell me, what was your favourite aspect of her tenure? Was it her stunning and brave decision to relaunch a multi-billion-dollar franchise with a trilogy of movies that had no particular plan or creative roadmap? Was it her savvy move of hiring an arrogant, pretentious wannabe auteur with zero respect or understanding of the franchise, and then giving him a creative blank check to write the middle entry of a trilogy where he ended up killing off most of the major storylines and characters?
Looking back, would you change anything in your script, or do you stand by all your choices?
Nope, stand by every choice. Stand by every choice. Stand by every choice.
Maybe it was the way she wisely failed to properly manage her writers and directors, hiring people who were totally unsuited to the task at hand and leading to costly replacements midway through production. Was it her inspired choice to scrap the hugely popular expanded universe that had been slowly built up over decades, only to realise later that her functionally retarded story group wasn't able to come up with any good ideas of their own, forcing them to steal characters and storylines from the very media that they erased from canon? Was it the way she bravely presided over a 50% drop in revenue over the course of the sequel trilogy, not to mention the first outright box office flop in Star Wars movie history? Perhaps it was the endless stream of speculative new film and TV projects that were announced way too early in development with no real plan, structure or connection to reality, only to go nowhere and ultimately get cancelled. Maybe you appreciated the inspired way she brought back a 900-year-old Harrison Ford to play Indiana Jones one more time, yet again falling back on the tried and tested formula of making a once iconic straight white male hero into a sad, pathetic old man who's given up on life and has to be shown the correct way by a smart, sassy, spirited young woman who's better than him at everything. Or maybe you were truly impressed by Willow, a TV show so disastrously, embarrassingly awful that Disney actually chose to scrub it from their streaming service and take the tax write-off rather than allow it to continue existing. Or maybe it was her big brain decision to bombard the audience with a withering barrage of invincible, stoic, all-conquering self-insertion girl bosses shoved into absolutely everything that were so functionally identical they felt like they came off an assembly line, turning a well-known boys brand that everyone could enjoy into a prickly, preachy, pandering girl brand that nobody could enjoy. Honestly, there's so many achievements to pick from, it's hard to even know where to begin. They say in business that people rise to their level of incompetence, and I think old Kathy here is living proof of that theory. A woman of modest talents but massive ego and ambition, who was able to ride the coattails of industry titans like Spielberg, Lucas and Marshall with a series of not particularly demanding producer gigs, and basically inherited the role of Lucasfilm president from an aging George Lucas almost by default. And this truly is where she came unstuck at last. Lacking the creative vision, the imagination, the leadership ability or the organisational skills to properly manage a studio like Lucasfilm, she instead commissioned projects left, right and centre, headed by whoever happened to be flavour of the month in Hollywood at the time, with no real understanding or thought for how they'd fit together into a larger franchise. With no particular creative drive of her own, she allowed most of these projects to meander aimlessly, letting creatives do whatever they wanted even if it was detrimental to the franchise, and only stepping in when things spiralled out of control and it was already too late. She She didn't particularly understand Star Wars or Indiana Jones or even Willow, and probably didn't give a shit about any of them. All she really wanted was to put her stamp on them, to reshape them into her image. And well, she definitely did that. Probably not in the way she'd intended, but it won't be forgotten easily, that's for sure. Like some kind of all-consuming pop culture tornado, she rampaged through the world of entertainment, leaving a trail of broken and destroyed IPs in her wake. In a way, she became the public face of everything that people have grown to hate about modern filmmaking. The shameless strip mining of old franchises with lame cash grab sequels and creatively bankrupt spin-offs. The mean-spirited emasculation of aging male heroes and their replacement with abrasive, unlikable girl bosses. The indulgent excesses of divisive identity politics and fan baiting, and the hiring of people based on what diversity boxes they tick instead of what actual skills they have. And what really pissed people off the most was her absolute refusal to accept any kind of responsibility for her growing list of failures. Any other studio head would have been shown the door at least 5 years ago after Solo bombed at the box office, but for some reason Kennedy just seemed impervious to criticism. No matter how many times she fucked up, no matter how many franchises she ruined or how much money she flushed down the shitter, not once was she ever rebuked or demoted, and she absolutely refused to acknowledge that anything might be wrong. She just carried on smiling and showing up to premieres, acting like everything was going just great. Couldn't possibly have her take responsibility for her own fuck-ups, could we? Jesus, and they talk about the male ego. But you can only ignore time and reality for so long. And now that she's 72 years old and basically run out of things to ruin, I guess it was time for her to call it a day. And when she walks out that door at Lucasfilm for the last time, I'm sure she'll be showered with all the praise and awards that Hollywood can bestow on her. She'll have endless bootlicking articles gushing about how she broke glass ceilings and blazed a trail for female producers everywhere, and probably a best-selling autobiography about her incredible career accomplishments. But none of that is going to change the fact that she ran not one but 3 different IPs into the ground with her unique combination of absolute incompetence, boneheaded stupidity and ego-driven vanity, losing billions of dollars in revenue and turning icons of pop culture into embarrassing, lame failures. And the real question now is, what happens next? Who's going to be given the monumental task of trying to unfuck 10 years of Kathleen Kennedy mismanagement? Well, it ain't going to be Dave Filoni, that's for sure. That guy showed us exactly what he was capable of when he was put in charge of Ahsoka, and as it turns out, it wasn't much. There's no point getting rid of an idiot if you're just going to replace them with a retard. And the thing is, even with Kennedy gone, her influence at Lucasfilm's gonna linger on like a fart in an elevator as long as the disciples that she hired are allowed to keep their jobs and keep pushing the same garbage into their work. If Disney actually want to change things and make a genuine effort to bring Star Wars back from the dead, there's gonna have to be the kind of wholesale purge at Lucasfilm that would make Joseph Stalin green with envy. And quite frankly, I don't think they've got the balls to even attempt something like that.
Sorry you had to go, but let's face it, you are a fucking waste of skin. Waste of skin, yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.